Hello, and welcome to my Let's Play of Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. I'm Methodical Destruction, and this is my first Let's Play on YouTube. Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland is a remake of the game Kirby's Adventure for the Nintendo, which came out in the 1980s. This version specifically came out for the Game Boy Advance, and it has updated graphics and sound, and is just much nicer than the NES version. So as you saw there, those are Kirby's moves. He can fly, he can inhale, and he can, that's basically it actually. And here we have Kirby using the beam move, which causes Kirby to swing the beam forward and hit enemies. And it has a good range of attack, but you always lose control of Kirby while you're using it until the animation ends. So it's kind of useful, but at the same time, it's a little risky to use. And here I am showing off a secret. If you go under that block and press up, you can get the UFO power-up. And the UFO power-up allows you to shoot beams, and it also gives you the ability of Beam Kirby, which is to do the beam attack, as you saw earlier. But I don't show it in this level anyway. And yep, that's what Kirby can do. And that was a Maxim Tomato, which refills all your health. And there you see I lost the power-up. And that is the end of level 1. And those springs, you want to press A just as Kirby is going down. And if you can do it well enough, you'll get to the number 1, which will give you, I think, 2 1-ups or 3 1-ups. I don't remember. And here's the first minigame, and it is Bomb Rally. And Bomb Rally is kind of like Hot Potato, where once the bomb comes at you, you have to press A, which will cause you to swing your frying pan. And your goal is to be the last one standing, so you have to have good timing. But really, it's not that hard. But there is, actually no, I won't spoil that. And as you see, after you die, you're replaced with a dummy character, which cannot win or lose, because it automatically will hit the bomb no matter what. It can't be blown up. And now it's just me versus Yellow Kirby. And unfortunately, I do not come out the victor in this match, as you will see in a moment. I do win the second time I play this though, so I don't completely suck at this. And anyway, on to level 2. Now those are called Gordos, and Gordos are basically spiky balls that you cannot inhale or kill, but they are easy to avoid at least. They only move up, down, left, or right. And here I was trying to show off a secret, but as you can see, I accidentally got the star. I'll probably show off the secrets in this game in a later video. But anyway, now we are nearing the very first mini-boss in Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. And I don't remember his name, sadly, but when you inhale him, he gives you the Crash Power. And the Crash Power will destroy every single enemy on screen at once. So it is very useful to have. And here's Fire Kirby. Fire Kirby can breathe fire. And like Beam Kirby, he can't move while he does this unless he's already moving. So its use is, you know, it's not exactly the most useful power-up. And then here's Spark Kirby. And Spark Kirby, like the others, can't move when using his ability. But he does create a spark shield around himself, which won't protect you from like spikes and stuff, but it will kill almost every enemy in the game in one shot. So it is useful if you can use it quickly enough. And here's Sword Kirby, and unlike the other power-ups, Sword Kirby can use his sword while moving, and has different attacks he uses depending on when you're using the sword. Like if you're in the air and you press the B button, it'll cause him to swing around and hit the enemies in midair. And if you're running to hit the B button, it'll cause you to do like a running slash. And just standard B, as you can see, is the regular slash. And I lost my power-up again. And you know, this isn't really a hard game. I first played Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, the NES version, Kirby's Adventure, a couple years ago. And I later played Nightmare in Dreamland, and I like Nightmare in Dreamland more personally, but sometimes, you know, just for nostalgia's sake, I'll go back and play Kirby's Adventure. Because Kirby's Adventure, back when it came out for the NES, had some of the best graphics out there. I mean, it really is just a nice looking game for both consoles, actually. And one thing to note is there are a couple changes, aside from the obvious, in Kirby's Nightmare and Dreamland. From what I can remember, a couple of the rooms were changed, but nothing really drastic. It's basically the same game. Oh, and also the mini-games are changed. And as you can see, this is a copy museum, and you get a couple of these during the game. And when you go inside, you can choose which power you want and take it into the levels, so that is useful if you don't want to have to look for an enemy to get their power up. And here's another mini-boss whose name I can't remember, and I got rid of him really easily. And he gives you the freeze power, and the freeze power allows you to turn enemies into ice cubes and then push them in any direction, right or left, sorry, not up or down, and hit other enemies with them. So it's pretty useful. And Kirby looks really cute in that parka too. And those needle enemies would give you Needle Kirby, but, and I tried getting the needle power, as you can see here, but I kind of failed at doing that. I do get it later, though, so. And here's Beam Kirby again. I'm going to be getting the same power-ups a couple times during the game, because eventually you don't encounter any new abilities, and so you kind of just have to stick with the ones that you see early on. Oh, and this is a Hyper Candy, and the Hyper Candy makes you invincible. And so that's good. It will protect you from spikes, and it will protect you from enemies, and it will kill enemies too. But if you fall down a pit, you will die, and that sucks. And now we're at the first boss, and if you've ever played a Kirby game, you already know who this is, because this is Wispy Woods. And Wispy Woods is extremely easy. There's no reason to lose to this boss. Even if you have no ability, he's still extremely easy. All you have to do is, if you don't have an ability, you have to eat the apples and then spit them out at Wispy's face. But if you have an ability, you can also use the ability to damage him from the get-go. But either way you do it, it's super easy, and you should have very little trouble with defeating Wispy Woods. And now we are at level 2, which is Ice Cream Island. And Ice Cream Island is a pretty fun level. It's got kind of a tropical theme, as you can tell. And there's a couple water sections, too. Those coconuts, if they fall on you, will explode and hurt you. So it's best to inhale them or run under them. So, just a word of warning to you, I would be careful about that. Now, those enemies, you didn't see there, but if you try to inhale them, they will kind of transform and become kind of creepy looking, and then they'll hunt you down and try to run into you. So it's best to basically start flying and then exhale your air onto them, and that will kill them instead of letting them, you know, try to hurt you. That's what I recommend anyway, because otherwise you're going to get hurt pretty badly. And here's a new ability, and this is Tornado Kirby. And Tornado Kirby is pretty useful. What you do is, if you just press the B button once, Kirby will spin like a tornado across the ground and hit the enemies. But if you want to actually fly a bit, if you rapidly tap the B button, it'll cause Kirby to kind of go up in the air and hit enemies that are in midair, or just kind of fly up a bit. And it has some good purposes. Like here you'll see I use it to good purpose. That's how you fly. But I lost it. And got it back. And here's another ability that I never showed off, which is the slide attack. And if you press down and A at the same time, like A to jump, then it will cause Kirby to do a slide move. And it's good for destroying blocks if you don't have an ability, because it is faster than just inhaling them and spitting them out. And bomb blocks can't be inhaled anyway, so it's good to destroy those too if you have no ability. And here is, I think it's called, the enemy is called Wheelie, but I don't remember the boss's name. But this is a pretty easy boss, and it will give you the wheel power-up. And the wheel power-up causes Kirby to dash super fast. He's invincible in this state, basically. Like, enemies, as you can see, don't hurt him, he hurts them. But one thing to be careful of is that when you're switching directions, which you can do with the wheel ability, is that you're vulnerable. So try to just run into enemies and not have to switch your direction if you can do it. Oh, and also one thing I didn't explain is these clouds, when you hit them, the different cloud levels will give you different things. So if you hit the top cloud, you get a couple 1-ups. If you hit the second one, it's like 5,000 points. And so on. And here is the second mini game. And basically you have to grind by pressing the A button. But when you reach near a spike, let go of the A button and you'll fly over it. As you can see, I got damage there. And this mini game is pretty easy, honestly. And it's nice looking though. And, you know, it's fun. I hadn't played it in a while, but as you can see, I got the hang of it pretty quickly. And that's it. Pretty easy. And you get 3 1-ups for winning this mini game. Now on to level 3. And I got hurt, so that sucks. But those flying enemies, as you probably saw before, they don't give you an ability. Not every enemy in Kirby will give you an ability, obviously. Only certain enemies will. But they can also, even if an enemy doesn't give you an ability, oh, and here's another hidden UFO room. It's not quite as hard to find as the other. But anyway, if you find an enemy that doesn't have an ability, you can still inhale it and spit it out in another enemy. So I would still recommend inhaling enemies no matter what, because it's just useful. Especially if you don't have an ability. Oh, and also one thing to note is that UFO Kirby does not lose his ability when underwater. Other Kirbys can only blow bubbles when underwater. So that makes UFO pretty useful, actually. And there's the beam ability, as I said before. And all you have to do is stand still and press B. If you hold B, that's how you do the charge shot. And there's a hidden 1-up. I thought the entrance was down here, but I was obviously mistaken. And it's just over here. Oh, one thing I do remember is those little mushroom guys are called Cappies. That's one thing, I guess. And here, that was pretty slick maneuvering. I'm surprised I didn't get hit in this section. Usually that flying enemy will get you if you're not careful. And these are Meta Knight's soldiers. And sometimes you'll have these battles. They're not too often. And all you have to do is destroy all the soldiers, and that will finish the boss battle. It's more of a mini-boss, but none of these guys give you abilities, even though they look like they do. So just destroy them. You can inhale them and spit them at each other, which I resort to here. Or you can just use the ability like I was doing earlier, and that will get rid of them no problem. And I think here I gave up on the power-up. So, you know, just be careful when doing these. It is easy to get killed, like I almost did. But, and see, there's the water attack that Kirby does. Even if he has an ability, that's the only thing he can do underwater, except with UFO being the exception. And there we go. That is the last level. No, sorry, this is the last level of this video anyway. But next you will be seeing me do a successful attempt at the bomb rally minigame, because as you know, the first time I lost. And as you saw on the screen maybe, it said level 1, because later in the game there are harder minigames, and even though I said I wouldn't spoil that, I might as well. There are harder minigames later in the game. The minigames get harder. And that, I think they give you more lives when they are harder. It was the same with Kirby's Adventure, but Kirby's Adventure had slightly different minigames. In Kirby's Adventure, the 2 main minigames were the claw machine, and I can't remember the second. But anyway, these, I'm pretty sure those minigames are in Nightmare and Dreamland. You don't get them right away like the Bomb Rally and the Warp Star minigame. But, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.